Well, people often ask what is the best part of working for Tidewell, and I have to admit that it's the people, it is the culture, it is an awesome place to work. Hi, my name is Eric Hugan. I am a recruiter here at Tidewell Hospice. I'm born and raised in Sarasota, and I love my job at Tidewell.
Hi, I'm Elham Ketchum, and I am a recruiter here at Tidewell, and I've been with Tidewell for 5 years.
Some of the positions that we recruit for at Tidewell are the CNAs for the home teams, for the long-term care teams, and for our hospice houses.
The difference between the three positions, the CNA that is on the home team actually visits a patient's home. Whether that home is a house, an apartment, a townhome, we have had indigent patients that our staff has cared for. If you are a CNA for the ALF or long-term care team, you are caring for a patient that lives in a facility, whether it's an assisted living facility or the long-term care facility.
Of course, our hospice houses are most similar to the hospitals. We have a fantastic facilities at all of our hospice houses, and we are breaking ground on our newest hospice house. Some of the assignments at the hospice houses are dietary aid, and of course we have shifts from PM, AM, overnights, 10-hour, 12-hour shifts.
We of course are looking for someone that has a year of experience, that has had training prior to becoming a CNA. You will need 75 hours of training prior to joining our team. But more importantly, we are looking for CNAs that want to do this type of work. This is very specialized work. These are end-of-life critically ill patients. It's very important that you understand the CNA role here at Tidewell. The CNA role at Tidewell is a critical role in caring for our patients and families, and we want folks that are compassionate, that will have respect, and will really provide that special kind of care that we're looking for our patients and their families.
The idea behind the realistic job preview is so that certified nursing assistants who are interested in joining our team at Tidewell get a really good idea of what it's like to be a team member at Tidewell. It really gives you a glimpse into the day in the life of a nursing assistant, what they experience in the hospice houses, what they experience in our patients' homes, and see that it is an awesome job, but at the same time it is a demanding job, and we want the right people to be in those roles.
We realize that this job is not for everybody, and we hope that this video will help make that decision for you. So we hope you'll just sit back and enjoy the video and maybe write down some questions that we might answer when we meet with you.
When I was in the nursing home field, I didn't know if I made a difference or not. But here at Tidewell, they tell you that all the time. They are always telling you, even the CEO of the company, that we are important to the company. I never had that from when I worked in the nursing home field. No one ever told me, good job, or we appreciate you.
Working for Tidewell, I think, is great because it's more like a one-on-one. You can spend more time with your resident, giving them the attention that they absolutely need.
I want to say, if you're looking, I know I can't say that, I know you won't put that on, but I'm just going to say to you, if the people come here with the mentality is just a check.
Just checking off the boxes?
No, it's just for a paycheck.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to work. I've seen so many people walking through the door. I know I can't say that.
But that's good. No, you can tell me that.
Okay. Because I know so many people coming through the door with the intention, and they don't last.
This is not a job you just like go in and you do something and you walk out. You pay attention, you learn so much. I never thought that I would learn the things that I have learned in the time that I've been here.
My heart is there with them. That's the main thing. You know, if you're feeling it, then you'll understand where they're coming from.
But it is a different kind of care than what you're going to do in a nursing home or assisted living. End-of-life care is less aggressive. You don't want to be doing head-to-toe scrubbing on somebody who's actively dying. It would be cruel.
Because it's not only for salary, it's not only for benefits, it's not only for that, it's because everything. It's supported everything. Because it's not only for patient care, it's for family support, it's for friends. You know, it's communicate to everybody.
And I wasn't used to that when I came to Tidewell. You know, it's like, why do they keep telling me that, you know? But now I see I make a difference, I really do.
It's a serious job. You're dealing with serious issues. And always treat them, that patient and the family, with respect all the time.
But know that not everything we do is end of life. And so you aren't going to be constantly looking death in the face every day, but you will. End-of-life care is different than nursing home care for sure. So you have to kind of understand that we're not doing nursing home care, we're doing end-of-life care.
That was all I knew was nursing home. So coming to Tidewell Hospice was totally different for me.
Here at Tidewell, we kind of use both of those parts of the hospital end where we're taking care of your symptoms and your conditions, but we're allowing you to have the choice of how you want that to work for you.
I think a big thing that people need to learn about all this is take things at their terms. You just gotta slow down. Just that little thing, slow down.
You know, we see patients in really vulnerable states, and they need someone that's going to be able to be sympathetic and compassionate to their situation.
You get 12, 13 patients in a nursing home. Here you get 7, so you can spend, you know, as much time with this person as they need, because patient first.
In a nursing home, you're rushed. Here it is all about the patient and their families.
This job is like no other job they've ever done. In any other facility, we work for an amazing company. I've never been anywhere, in my personal opinion, that I've ever had so many nurses value my opinion. They listen to what we have to say, they understand what we're saying, and they believe us. You know, they're not questioning what we're telling them. It's just an amazing job, and I love what I do. All day. You travel everywhere you go. You don't have more than one patient at one home. So you go to one home and then you have to go to another home and then you have to go to another home, and it's busy. And you really have to learn to time manage.
We serve 4 counties, so we were all, you know, crisis care, you're all over the place. You're wherever that patient needs the care.
The most I do in a day is probably like 45, 50 miles. And we get paid mileage, so I don't complain about where they send me anyway.
A week, yeah, 100 to 200 miles in a week. On average, I'd say about 150.
With cell track, in the morning before we start, we can log into our cell track and bring up our schedule for the day.
Our day shows up on our phone. We chart on our phones. Those are our lifeline. We use them for everything. So on cell track, they have a list of all of our patients. And so when we click on our patient when we get to arrive at their home, we click on it, we hit start visit, it'll pop up with this care plan, a list of all the things that we should be doing when we get there.
We do have to use the computer, so you have to be a little bit computer savvy, but we have a great IT department and you'll know that number. They're great, and they never laugh at me. The thing is to be aware of what you're feeling, to not deny those feelings and, you know, or think that it makes you less of a CNA or whatever. I remember the nurse that I talked to so much before I came to Tidewell, she said, you need to remember not to be judgmental. And I thought, I'm one of the least judgmental people you'll ever meet. I didn't understand what she meant. You don't judge the situation. And we all do that. If you go in and somebody's dying and they're in the corner all laughing and joking and have a good time, don't think that they don't care. That might be how they have to handle it.
When you say you have a mom or a dad here and you have 4 or 5 siblings, they all have different views of the way things should be done. More than anything, you have to sit back and just listen to them all. There's going to be a loss in their family, a great loss. So you're dealing with that. So you just listen, that's the first thing.
Well, there was one family when I was out in crisis care, the patient was trying to fix the problem between the family members. So that kind of got to me. That kind of touched my heart, because it was like, here you have a patient that is weak and sick, and the patient still wanted to be in control, still wanted to fix the problem with the family member. So that really touched me. That was really difficult for me.
We see the families that are so loving and so caring and, you know, are just amazing, amazing people. The amount of work they put in to take care of their family members is amazing.
I have been finding in my own personal life, as I get a little older too, that I'm having a little more struggle with our 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds. They kind of tear at my heart. a little bit more. It's one thing to know an 80, 90-year-old is at the end of life, and even though the family's grieving, and legitimately so, my grandmother's 84 and I still miss her. That's a reality and that's the truth. It's easier to accept than somebody who's 41 and has an 18-year-old daughter sitting at her bedside. Those are hard.
8 years with the company of, yeah, you get attached to the patients. Yes, you do. We're always able to call the support team and talk with someone. And then my coworkers, we're pretty good about being there for one another.
You can get really attached. You get really attached to the family. So you kind of have to be careful of your boundaries. And we talk about that at Tidewell, about, serving without enabling. They have to be independent, and then we have to be careful of where our hearts are going with this, because it can, it can take a toll on you emotionally. So you have to be aware of that. One of the hardest things, as you saw me break down already, is sometimes for me not to talk about my personal experiences because they're so close to me. And I think a lot of the people, a lot of the staff that work for Tidewell or in any hospice probably had some sort of hospice experience themselves, whether they even had death without a hospice care, but they faced death of a loved one.
The longer you're with the patient, it does get tough, and we did have one that was here for a very long time. And yes, I did get very attached, and as a lot of us did.
You have to have sympathy and compassion, but sometimes you can't help it. It just happened. They're just so loving that you just can't help it.
Sometimes our emotions get caught up into it, and I think that is one of the things that we need to be really careful of.
I've been on cases like that where I went to $1 million homes, and I went to a house that they barely had running water. We don't turn our backs. We're there for all of our patients, and we're there to serve all of our patients.
That's probably been some of the biggest hurdles I have faced, is going into homes that were maybe in a questionable condition.
When I go into a home that's not so, up to par, or I think that's livable, there are people you can call and get in contact with, and your RN will come out and assess the situation, and we will go from there. But I never judge. I'm there for the patient.
I would never say it made me ill or sick, because I just put myself into their shoes, or the family that's there. I mean, the last thing you want to do is react.
So these are things that, if you're feeling something and they want us to call and touch base and say, listen, I was there today and this happened and that really made me uncomfortable.
You can't react. The family's there. The patient is still alert enough you don't want to. So some of the things I've seen, yeah, it has shocked me, and I really talk with my nurses whenever I go anywhere. I'm there a few minutes early, so I can kind of see where I'm going to be, what my patients are like, what is their diagnosis. Helps me take care of them.
We don't always go to the nicest houses, but then you go over onto the island or Nokomis area on the beach and stuff, and multi-million-dollar homes that we'll go into. Beautiful.
I've had some amazing experiences in the home team. When you're doing patient care, looking out over the Gulf, wow. When I've had chances to go out to Siesta Key, you're like, man, I get paid for this? This is crazy.
But then I had a patient over there right off the beach, and they didn't fix anything. There was no floors on there. It was just concrete. There was like tile that was coming up, and this poor woman was walking around, and she had Alzheimer's. So she didn't know to put shoes on when she walked around because the wood floors were coming up, and it was a really sad case, but luckily they got her placed. And in that type of situation, she was better off being placed than she was where she was. So
the main thing is we want our patients safe. We're not trying to take them out of their environment, but we want them safe.
I started out in crisis care, so for my first 3 years, you have so many people right at your fingertips. You think you're alone when you're out there, and even a CNA, you're not. Everybody's just a phone call away.
I can always rely on my coworkers. We are a team, and we're all about teamwork.
It's a whole team, no matter what part you work in Tidewell. There's a whole team of people, you know, social workers and case managers, grief specialists.
As a PRN, I've been allowed to serve in all the different capacities that Tidewell does. The home team is the team that I thought I would never want to do, and it's my favorite. So you never know, you just never know. Now in assisted living facilities and in the home visits, we're going in and we're doing care. We're doing showers if they can still do a shower. We're doing bed baths if they can't. In the hospice house, we have an on-staff nurse and the doctor to kind of be there immediately if we need it. So in the homes and in the assisted living facilities, you're always going into these situations alone, but they're a phone call away. So you're never hanging there, but you're the one who's going in and going, we need to call a nurse.
I think it's really important that we all should be team players because we're there to help the patient and to do some of the things we do with our patients. It sometimes really takes two people.
One of the biggest things to me is IDG, where everybody is at that meeting and everybody is just as important as anybody else. From the CNA up to the doctor, everybody's input is important. We go over all the new admissions, transfers in, and 14-day review. Our patients have to be reviewed to see whether or not they're still hospice appropriate.
But there's just such a great team of support in Tidewell to help these patients and families, you know, deal with this. And I think in healthcare, you can't forget when you're caring for somebody, you just don't forget. Every day, it's a different person. It's different. You're dealing with impending deaths.
It's important to me because I like to know the new patients that maybe I haven't seen yet that are newly admitted, and I get a little background, a little history. I get to know their past. I get to know little things, and sometimes it helps with icebreakers, you know, because we're strangers walking into their home because we see everything. And so sometimes it helps because we might learn something just a little bit in that IDG meeting that we can use as an icebreaker. It just really gives us a good idea of what's going on.
I walked into this situation, you know, came into the home and they met me at the door going, oh, I think she just died. As a CNA, we don't assess for that, of course, and so we just go in and say, yeah, we need to call the nurse. And then this family was a particularly close family, so there was a lot of crying and a lot of tears.
We have a lot of them that are in their 30s and 40s, and that's pretty difficult, I think, because it hits home.
The young patients, they all have a soft spot. My heart just goes out to them.
I think what hit me the hardest is her youngest daughter was as old as one of my oldest sons. So, I mean, I was thinking like, man, that could be me.
Sometimes I have a lot of death, and I think it really hit me mentally, which I'm unaware of until bam, you know, I have to take some time out to regroup and recuperate.
It's going to be the end-of-life question. Whether you are prepared to handle that for yourself emotionally, and whether you're prepared to handle that professionally to give the care that they need.
I had one that was 20 years old, little girl, and she didn't want to die. That was sad. She was very young and wants to leave, and you know, she was comfortable, and we did everything we could for her, and she made her journey very comfortable. But that was a tough one because she kind of lay on my shoulders and pretty much passed.
In a home setting, and even in the hospice house setting, but in a home setting for sure, we do a little bit more of the care to the body after death. What would you like your loved one dressed in? And that kind of stuff. And some people have some very firm ideas of that. We have to be aware of different religious things that play into it.
It was kind of an adjustment, you know. I mean, I've seen tons of patients in bed that are bedbound and can't do anything on their own, and they're almost in coma state. But just the fact of knowing that this person is not alive anymore kind of was a little bit of an adjustment for me.
And when those happen, we have each other to talk to. We have our nurses, who are taking care of that patient, and sometimes, we vent to each other. If it gets really bad and you're feeling really under it, we have, the grief specialist and other people that we can really talk to.
And I think that's what's weird about this is you don't have that shock anymore about somebody dying. It's just kind of, you acknowledge it, you're sad for the families, you have that sympathy and compassion, and then you move on because there's more patients that has to be taken care of. We see it daily, and to a lot of other people, it shocks them and it throws them for a loop because they don't see that daily. But we hear about it, talk about it, and deal with it daily.
It's my job, it's the best that I'm doing all the time. I love what I'm doing, I say. But if you're gonna work in hospice, you need to know you have to have heart to do this.
There's nobody going to get out of this world alive. Everybody's going to die. You have to focus on, today I had a good day, today I had a good meal, today I laughed.
This is end of life. It makes us look at our own lives. It makes us, there are a lot of times I walk into situations and it's my mom all over again and I have to go to the car and cry. It's just, I'm sorry. It's part of the game. But it's good because this is real and this is truth. Not only sometimes helped me move forward through the process that I had to, but now I'm giving back because I'm helping another family move through that. But sometimes it does take a toll on you.
And if you do everything right, when they pass this life to the other side, it's kind of like, I'm not going to say it was relieved to, but for her, she's not going to get cured. She's not going to get better. At least she went with some dignity and respect. That's what we do.
Families even, oh, I don't know how you could do this job day in and day out. Well, it has its rewards, and that's what I tell them.
We had this one man, he was 105 years old, just received his high school diploma. Don't ever think anything is impossible. He says, look at me, I'm 105 and I just received my high school diploma. And he died 2 days later. It was the last thing in his life he needed to accomplish.
It's a challenge all the time, but it's a great challenge. Very proud to be working for Tidewell. It's a great organization, it really is. And I do love it.
And there's nothing more rewarding than when a patient does pass away and you are with them and you're able to give them that final bath. I feel like, okay, my job was complete from beginning to end.
I'm quite proud that I work for this organization and take care of my little patients. They're my loves.
It's not all about dying. It's about living your life at the end of your life because, there are a lot of things that you can still do.
I think everybody needs to know what Tidewell does. I just love it. I really do.
You need to have the heart. If you don't have the heart, go back to school, go study, do something else in your life. But if you want to serve, if you give, that's the place.
I love it. I just tell people I absolutely love it. I love what the company stands for. I believe in hospice. We're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. And we serve a lot of patients and a lot of patients out there that need us.
I do believe this is not a job to enter in lightly.
You really have to have a good heart and able to help them in their most vulnerable state.
In all honesty, I don't look at it as a job. And I think that's something that people really need to think about before you come here. It's not just about a paycheck. You are here to really give your all when you're here, and that's it.
Well, we thank you for taking the time to watch the Realistic Job Preview. We hope that this has raised some questions and answered some questions. We hope that when we get together that we will address those questions that you have and that you are really considering a career here at Tidewell, a lifetime career here at Tidewell.
Thank you for watching the video. We look forward to meeting with you.